And you believe in our institutions, which for the course of your entire life have not really been corrupt, but now they are. The Justice Department, especially under Joe Biden. The DOJ spent the year trying to crush Joe Biden's political opponents, and now they're moving to the tier beneath. On Friday, dozens of FBI agents arrested a Catholic pro-life activist in front of his wife and children. The man's name is Mark Houck. Now, to give you some idea of who he is, here he was in December of 2020. See if you can spot the criminal behavior.
I was at an abortion mill last week. I turned the corner to go home, and there's the abortionist at the end of the block. I've been praying for 20 years for this man, and there he was, and I've been praying for 20 years that I would meet him. So I went up to him, and I said to him, keep his name off the airways, but I said to him, when is this going to stop? When is the baby killing going to stop? And he says, Keith, move on. And I said, can't we dialogue? And I had this wonderful dialogue. We talked about women. We talked about healing. We talked about babies. And we talked about Thanksgiving. And at the end of that exchange, I shared the love of Christ with him. I told him we were praying for him.
So that guy's a dangerous extremist. You may not agree with him, but he's not a dangerous extremist. He's totally nonviolent. He's a man of faith. But Biden's Justice Department has accused him of the crime of obstructing access to abortion. A guy came up to him and his 12-year-old son and got in the son's face, so he pushed him back. The man's name was Bruce Love. Love was harassing his boy. That was it. But for pushing the guy back, and by the way, the matter was also being thrown out of court, but for pushing the guy back, the Biden administration is trying to send that man to prison for 11 years. It's out of control. Judge Jeanine Pirro is the co-host of The Five, some people's favorite co-host, and she joins us tonight. Judge, thanks so much for coming on. So it's hard to believe this is one of those stories where you had to read it twice. Are they really trying to send a guy to prison for 11 years for pushing a guy back who gets in his 12-year-old's face?
It not only gets in his 12-year-old's face, but tells him things that I can't repeat on the air. Look, I mean, when you think about it, the FBI conducts an early morning raid at the home of an individual. They have 30 FBI agents with long guns. They have 15 vehicles that surround the house. They're pounding on the door. They've got a SWAT team, and they're pounding on the door. They almost break the door down. So when they open the door, there are 5 guns aimed at the head of Mark Houck. So let's go back for a second and say, why do you need a SWAT team to arrest this father? I mean, is he a drug dealer? Is he a violent criminal? Because SWAT is specifically designed for specialized training and tactics for those individuals who are a danger or a threat to public safety. The absurdity of using SWAT in doing all this is simply evidence of what the Biden administration is intending to do to intimidate people on the right. So what they end up doing is, with married father of 7 children, all being homeschooled, he is someone who goes and prays on the sidewalk with his son, which is a constitutionally protected right, and he's charged with a federal offense. This is an example of the FBI and the DOJ weaponizing the Department of Justice. We saw it with the leak between the leak of the Supreme Court decision and the final release. And in the end, what we've got is a government that is a police state.
Those FBI agents, we never attack law enforcement. They should be ashamed and they should resign in protest. It's shocking that they haven't. And I appreciate your describing that horrifying story to us tonight. Judge Jeanine Pirro.